Hi, this is Coach Kemi, founder of How to Think, where we teach you and train you how to think to win in every opportunity that you have, and how to excel and to succeed with whatever it is that you do in life. It's great to have you on this video training series. The Women Inspired Seminar is coming up on the 31st of May 2014, and I'm looking forward to having 15 choice women. It's a closed meeting for those women who are willing to make a change in their lives for the better. Women who are willing to learn how to think so that they can excel, so that they can succeed, and so that they can keep thinking to win. And therefore, they will affect and inspire and influence other women in their lives, other men in their lives, their children, their parents. Wow, it's such a wide reach. I'm so glad to have you on this video training series. And on this video training series, we are going to look at the word attitude, from which I have developed an acronym. I remember that I looked up the dictionary, and there are two meanings of the word attitude. The way you think and feel about someone or something. Attitude means the way you think or the way you feel about someone or something. Another meaning is a feeling or way of thinking that affects a person's behavior. A feeling or way of thinking that affects a person's behavior. So when you say someone has a bad attitude, there is a way that they are thinking that has affected their behavior. I firmly believe that as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. You are what you think. And so the way you think informs your attitude. I remember I was speaking with my daughter this morning, and she mentioned to me something about she was disciplining her son, my grandson, and she said to him, "Oh, sit over there, you didn't do right." So he cried a bit. Then she said, "Now come and lie down next to me and think about what you did." But he was talking at the same time. So she said, "You cannot talk and think. You've got to keep quiet to think." Now, he's only 15 and a half months old, but he does understand. I assure you he does. And I developed something from that. You've got to think before you speak, and your thoughts inform your words. We're going to look about words. I'm a big fan of words. I believe God created the world with words. He spoke and the world came to be. When you speak, you have thought. You may not have thought it through, as we say, but you have actually thought. And so when you speak, you bring life or you bring death. In fact, that good book, the Bible, says death and life are in the power of the tongue. That means as long as you have a tongue, you can talk. And so you can either bring death or you can bring life. But can you imagine that bringing death or life, into your world, is determined by how you think? So we say, oh, that person has a bad attitude. That person has a way of thinking that has caused a development of a bad attitude in the person. We can also call it character. So, how to think is so major. It is so crucial to our livelihood, to the way we live, to how much money we make and how we make the money, to how we bring up our children, to how it affects our marriages. You cannot play with how you think. So I'm so grateful to God that this is my job. This is my work. This is something I'm very, 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 very passionate about. And I really, really hope that you understand and you learn and you make the changes that you need to make. And those of you women who are able to attend the Women Inspired Seminar, I'll be opening the doors after the next video. That will be the last in the series. I hope to have you there. It's going to be an event that you do not want to miss. If you want to make changes, if you've been struggling for months and years, and you say, I want to be like this, or I want to achieve this, or I want to become this, or I want to be elevated, or I want to become like that role model that you so admire, you need to be at this seminar. It's on the 31st of May here in London, Greenwich, in the Premier Inn, and I'll be bringing you more details. They are on my website. All right, so let's go into the acronym How to Think. Now, I have it right up here. How to think. Sorry, not how to think. Attitude. The acronym for attitude. And I've covered it up, as you can see, so that you can, we can follow through one by one. But one thing we're going to be doing a lot of, we're going to be looking at the meanings of the words the acronyms I've created. We're going to be looking at the meanings so that we are better able to understand what this is all about. So the first acronym in the word attitude for the letter A in attitude is approach. Approach. I do not know if you can see it clearly, but the word there is approach. What is your approach to things? So let me get the meaning of the word approach right out of my thesaurus. And I'll be there in a second. There you go, approach. Now, when I looked up the meaning of the word approach in the thesaurus moved me to another word called overture. Overture. O-V-E-R-T-U-R-E. Overture. And I am going to tell you the meaning of overture as soon as I find it right here. T-U-R-E. Right. It says action intended to attract favorable attention. Action intended to attract favorable attention. To have the right attitude, you have to have the right approach. If you want to win every time, you must have the right approach. To have the right approach, have the right overture, you have to think right. So, for example, what do we say? You want to, maybe you want to buy something. And you know it costs a lot of money, but you have planned that you're going to negotiate. And so you decide to negotiate. You get there, but your approach from the get-go is one of being aggressive, of being hard, and you're just, tight-faced. You're going to get back all the money you can. You're not going to pay all that money. As soon as you are thinking that way, that, okay, this is the way to do it. You're thinking, this is the plan. This is the plan that you've put in place. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go there and I'm going to let him know I'm a stronger lady and I'm not going to, take any of his sales gimmicks. You will miss it. Because as we have read in the meaning of overture, it means action intended to attract favorable attention. You want things to go in your favor. I know that good book says a quiet answer turns away wrath. If someone's angry with you and you come at them with anger, like they say, when two elephants fight, the grass suffers. You don't get what you want. But if you think the way to come across to this person is to come gently and to speak gently and to have a right demeanor, a right attitude, come with the right approach, most likely I'll be favored and I'll get what I want. And I'm sure you'll agree with me that that works more often than the aggressive and the hard. However, you need to be thinking that way in order to act that way. If you remember in the last video, I talked about POTS, problem-oriented thinking or thoughts, SOTS, solution-oriented thinking, ROTS, results-oriented thinking, and A.O.T.S, action-oriented thinking. It depends on what kind of thinking you're putting yourself through. So it's important to have the right approach in everything. The right approach will give you the right results. Right thinking will create the right approach, which will create the right attitude, which will give you what you want. So let's go on to the next acronym. And that is T, the first T in attitude for tendency. We all have a tendency, don't we? So a tendency to do this, or a tendency to do that. But let me look at the meaning of the word tendency. Tendency means, and bear with me, I have it all sorted out here in my book with all the tabs there. It means movement of course, or course, having a particular direction and character. A movement or course having a particular direction and character. To have a tendency. We use the word tendency, or he tends to move in this direction. That means he has a particular direction or course. But you see, my tendency to shout when I'm upset with my children has come as a result of the way I think. For as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. I think, well, when they do wrong, shout at them. You'll get their attention that way and they will change. No, mothers, no, it doesn't work. And we know it doesn't work. Actually, it is said that the higher your voice goes in volume, the less your authority. Once you are shouting a lot, the person you're talking to knows you've lost authority. Don't do that, especially to your children. No one likes being shouted at. No one likes being told off and all that. So what you want to do is to have the right tendency. And you can only have the right tendency by changing the way you think. So if you want to get their attention, the children have done something wrong. The thought is they've done something wrong. Not need to shout at them and not, or wind yourself up so that emotionally you're so upset. The next thing to do is to shout. There is no other option. That's not how to do it. That's not the way to go. The way to go is to look at the situation and say, okay, they've done it again. I have a choice. Now you are thinking, I can either get angry, because this is like the 10th time they're doing it, and I've spoken about this 3 times already today, or I can take time out, a day or 2, keep quiet, calm down, relax, pray about it if you're a Christian, chill, get some wisdom, speak with a friend, what do you think I should do? And take it from there. Already just the way you're thinking begins to calm you. You get calmer. Have you noticed that depending on the way you think, you either get hotter emotionally or calmer emotionally? It's up to you. And what is so amazing is that we are in control of our own thoughts. No one can tell us what, can make us think what we want to think. We cannot be made to think. We can be influenced to think a certain way, but we can choose whether we can choose whether we accept that influence or not. It's a choice. Always a choice. In fact, again, that good book says, I set before you life and death. Choose life that you may live. So as much as some people, some of them are Christians, some of them are not, I don't know. I'm a Christian, and they go, oh, God will come and do it. God will make sure it happens. No, God has said we need to choose. We need to choose which way we want to go. We want to go for life or we want to go for death. So what is your tendency? Women, what tendencies have you had that have not served you till this time? What tendencies, what directions and courses of action have you taken that have not sat well with friends, with people that know you? You know what they are. It's time to stop. And the only way to stop is to change the way you think. And that is in your power. to do. It's not in anyone else's. It's in your power to do. So let's move on to the next T word. And that T word is, a beautiful word that I love. I absolutely love. That T word is temperament. 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 And let's talk about what temperament means. And I hope I find that quickly, because I remember when I was looking for it, it took me to this thesaurus took me to so many other words. There we go. Temperament. And I believe the word it took me to is disposition. Disposition. And I think it also took me to another word. Mentality. When I looked it up, another word for temperament is mentality. And really, that's what How to Think is all about, isn't it? Your mentality. What you put in there, what you put on the ground of your mind. Because your mind has a ground. Just like we have grounds in the world. Whatever seed you put in the ground is what grows out. So if you put an apple seed, you're going to get an apple tree. If you put an orange seed, you're going to get an orange tree. If you put a banana seed, you're going to get a banana tree. If you put evil words on the ground of your mind, out will come evil words out of the mouth of your mind, out of your mouth and out of your heart. So another word for temperament is mentality. But the synonym that the meaning is actually the meaning for disposition. The complex of especially mental and emotional qualities that distinguish an individual. The complex of especially mental and emotional qualities that distinguish an individual. It's true. We all have different temperaments, and our temperaments determine our attitudes to a great extent. Temperament, disposition, the way you are wired. I am melancholic choleric. It's one of the 4 temperaments that has been discovered by Dr. Tim But in a book called The Spirit Controlled Temperament, I suggest you get that book and read it. You will meet yourself. You will understand why you are who you are and how you are. And you will also understand how to control the different weak aspects of your temperament. So there's the melancholic, there's the choleric, there's the phlegmatic, and there's the sanguine. Now the melancholic can be moody, emotional, moved by their emotions. And yes, I am that way. Yeah, I can't be. I'm not all, I can't be. But there is another part of me that's the choleric, where I can be strong, but I'm mainly melancholy and choleric. Everyone is a bit of two of the temperaments. Choleric, they are tough, straight, say what they want to say it how they want to say it, and frankly, they don't care what you think about it, and they're usually right. More often they are right than ever. The sanguine is the life and soul of the party. He or she is an excitable person, always going here and there. Their weaknesses, they don't really plan. Things are just done ad hoc. They just like to have fun, There's a place for that, but you can't do that all the time. But you would absolutely love the sanguine. And what was the last one? Phlegmatic. Oh, if they're in your house, they could sit in one spot for 5 hours. They will not move. They will not talk. They will not disturb you. They are great listeners. They will sit and listen. They will not speak. You don't want them to speak. Even if you want them to speak, their words are few and far between. They're lovely people. But then if you can sit in one place for 5 hours, that means you don't get a lot done. So that can be a weakness. One of the weaknesses of the melancholic is that we're easily moved by our emotions. Someone's upset, someone's crying, someone's angry with me. I try and fix that very quickly. But you see, to have the right, to use your temperament right, you've got to learn what it is, know what your weaknesses are, and think right. If there are certain things that upset you, and there are certain things that you do not particularly like, there is a way to think about it so that you are not displaying the weak aspects of your temperament. There is a way to have your temperament spirit controlled. If you're a Christian, it can be spirit controlled. That's the Spirit of God controls your temperament because you give yourself to Him to do that. But that's not automatic. You also have to do something about it. You have to call a spade and say, you know what? I can be easily moved by my emotions. However, that's not the way to behave. That's not what there is to do. I need to take control of it when I'm upset, when I'm hurting, when I'm moved very greatly. And I need to take it slow. I need sometimes, I may need to go and speak to someone else who does not think like me and who does not behave like me. Someone who will be a lot more objective in that time when I am not. That is crucial. So it's important to think right so that you can behave right. Your thinking affects your behavior greatly. Let's move on to I. And the word I've used for I is inclination. I'm sure this is making sense. We all have an inclination to do one thing or another. So let me get that word out for you. And that word took me to another word, leaning. And then it took me on yet to another word, willing. You know when you say you have a willingness, and let me give you the meaning of willing. W-I-L-L-I-N-G. Prepared in mind or by disposition. I mean, we can't go away from the words, can we? Prepared in mind or by disposition. We can't get away from it. The way your direction, your disposition, your course of action. What are you inclined to do? Inclining means to bend in a certain direction. But that's dependent on how you think. Because you might see a crazy dog running towards you. I will see a crazy dog running towards me. I might take off and start running. I'm inclined to run in the other direction. You're inclined to stand still and face the dog. It depends on how we are both thinking. The one that runs, oh, this dog is not going to get me. Let me escape. Fear, take off and run. The other one is, you are a dog. There isn't anything you can do to me. I'm going to stand my ground. You're going to stop where you are. Obviously, you have something to protect yourself or to defend yourself. Because that makes wisdom. Because the dog might be a rabid dog or something. It depends on how we think. So what is your inclination? How are you thinking that has determined that you incline yourself? Your willingness is now in this direction. I'm willing to go this way. I'm willing to go that way. It depends on how you think. And you can change. When you say, oh, she's not willing to do it, that means she's not inclined to do it. But why is she not inclined to do it? What is the problem? What has she seen? The crucial question is, what is she thinking? What are you thinking? What's your inclination? What is the situation you've been in? What are you inclined to do? What are you willing to do? What is that thing that has been difficult for you that you've not been able to overcome for years? You've tried. You've done everything you know. And it hasn't happened. You've probably done everything you know. Why? Because of the way you think. Because that's all you do know. But when you give yourself permission to think differently, I don't want to say think outside the box because that's become such a cliched word. It doesn't really mean anything. Think outside the box. What does that mean? Which box? Who's in a box? Are your thoughts in a box? That speaks of limitation. And I won't go there because that's for another day, another seminar. Limitation in itself. But come on. You're not in any box. Just think right. There is a how-to of thinking. And so let's move on to the next word. And that's the T word, the third T. And it's called twist. I did look this up, but I didn't really have the meaning I needed it to have. Because the reason I use twist is, it's in the question when we say, what's your twist on things? You know, when we both go somewhere and maybe we're in the airport and we are unable to get on the plane, and they say because it's full or because we are late or whatever the reason is, and I'm with a companion and I go, what's your twist on it? What do you think? Do you think that is right? Do you think they should have done that to us? What's your twist? What's your approach? What's your inclination? What's your disposition? What are you willing to do? What are your thoughts on it? What's your twist on things? So let's look at failure, for example. You have been at something, banging at it, going after it, day after day, month after month, year after year. Your spouse or your children or your best friend or your partner or your fiance has been at you saying, you've been at this for years, you've never done it. Look, let me tell you, that's my story. I've been at How to Think for 8 years. 8 years. And I've started and stopped, but I've not given up. I'm here today. I've done a few seminars here and there, but I've not given up. And it didn't matter what I was hearing. I knew this is my life's work. To bring value to you. To inspire you to be all you are created to be. To introduce you to your inspired self. Because I have found that when you achieve, when you begin to accomplish, you give yourself life. It's not something that you can explain to someone else. It's the only thing that other person can do, that someone else can do, is experience it. You see, you release, what are they called in the body? There's some things that you release in your body, that your physical body, that your brain sends all this good stuff around you, but it's just what you release when you exercise. I've forgotten the scientific word for it. My goodness, you are on top of the world. You can outperform anybody because you've just started to make it. Just because you stepped up, you stepped out, and you said, there isn't anything I can't do. You see, when I coach people, I have something they have to agree to before I accept them on my coaching seat. And that is, I don't care how hard it is and how difficult it becomes for you during these coaching sessions. All you have to do is to tell me now that you are resolved in your heart that whatever it takes, you're going to keep moving forward. You're not going to sit down. You're not going to twiddle your toes. You're not going to give up. You're not going to sit down there and whine. You can do any of those as long as you get up and start going all over again. Because it's all in the state of the mind. So what's your twist on things? What's your twist on the failure that you've been experiencing? I'm not making it. What's your twist on that? Whatever your twist is going to be determined by how you think. And let me tell you, the only twist you should have is, I can make it. That's the only twist you need to have. I can make it. I am going to make it. I am made to succeed. I am wired to succeed. I will accomplish this thing. That's the only thing you can do. That's the only good thing you can do. There isn't anything else you can do. Anything else will be creating death, limitation. And that is not all. That's not who you are. So women, only inspired women can live inspired lives. Be inspired to live an inspired life. Because inspired lives inspire other lives. And that's what I have set out to do. So let's move on to the next word. And that's the U word, which I cheated on a bit, because I couldn't find an acronym with the word U for attitude. And I call that where you are at. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you in the grand scheme of things and in the specific scheme of things? You know, there's something I want to talk about briefly here. Maybe you've listened to a video like this and you were so inspired, you were motivated, you thought, yes, what is the package they are selling? What is the package they're giving away? How much is it? $1,997. Wow, a 3-day event. I'm going for that one. That's going to happen for me. Yep, I'm going to pay for it and I'm going to attend it, and I'm telling you, I'm going to be a different person. Everything the module says, everything written on that website that they're going to teach, all the CDs, the DVDs, all the workbooks, the whole shebang. I'm going to get this. This is going to happen for me. Oh, yes, this is going to happen for me. And then you pay for it. You know, that's a stretch for you, but yes, because you are determined, this time I'm going to change. And you attend a 3-day seminar, you are hyped, you are up there. Oh, yes, I'm going to make it. You begin to put things into motion and you begin to do all the things you've been taught, and you begin to create new partnerships. You make new joint ventures. You are moving forward, and all of a sudden, boom, obstacle, what do you do? What do you do? Are you going to get your £1,997 worth out of that course by becoming successful and achieving the reason why you set out to attend the course in the first place? Or are you going to allow a little miserly obstacle to mess you up? What are you going to do? I remember I was listening to Laura Langmeyer. She's a millionaire, and she goes around teaching people how to become millionaires. And she says you can become a millionaire in 7 weeks if you follow what she says. I believe that's what she said. Do you know? Well, not in 7 weeks, but the changes you need to make that will set you on the road to become a millionaire. She said, I believe God allows obstacles in our lives to see what we are going to do about it. Think about it. God allows obstacles to come our way to see what we are going to do about it, to see whether we are strong enough to overcome it. It's actually to see whether we're actually ready to achieve that thing we've set out to achieve and become that person we have set out to become. What is stopping you? What has been your obstacle? What have been your obstacles? What is it? What is it? There is a way around it. It depends on how you think. If you think the problem, you will get problem actions. If you think the solution, how do I get around this obstacle? What do I need to do? We're in the internet age. There isn't anything you're looking for that you won't find. In fact, you will find more than you're looking for. What have you done about it? If you think results, then that's what you will get. The actions that will and bring those results about is what you will get. What are you doing? Where you are at. Where are you? If you are down, it's time to get up. If you're slightly up, it's time to go higher. If you've been high for a while and you've been there, it's time to go even higher. Come on. There are people in this world that you need to reach. People in this world that will never hear me, never know me, but they will hear you. You will go where they are. You will speak and they will listen. There are people waiting for you. For whatever skill set you have, whatever abilities you have. Don't sit down there and say, well, I tried, I couldn't make it. Don't do that. Get up. God has never created one weak person. Get up. It's one step after another, just one step at a time, not 2 steps at once, one step at a time. Take the first step. Because if you never take the first step, you will never take the second step. I have found out as I've moved forward with my business that I do not know what I know today until I actually go out there and do it. Do you understand what I'm saying? There might be obstacles, there might be ways to do certain things and ways not to. Until I step out and do it, I won't know the ways to do it and the ways not to. But as I move forward, I realize, that's not the way. That is the way. Oh, this is easier. This is harder. I also know timings. I begin to meet people. I need you to move up, step up, and become all that you're supposed to be. So the next time we talk, you'll be telling me where you are at. You're in a better place. And so, the D word in attitude, I have 2 words. I have disposition and demeanor. Disposition and demeanor. And so, let us look at some of the words, the meanings of those words. Disposition first. We have looked at disposition, haven't we? And it means the complex of especially mental and emotional qualities that distinguish an individual. And let's look at the word demeanor. It means bearing. You have a bearing on something, because that's what the word demeanor sent me to in this the thesaurus sent me to. And it means the way in which, or the quality by which a person outwardly manifests his personality. Let me say that again. The way in which, or the quality by which, a person outwardly manifests his personality. Wow. The way in which, or the quality by which. Wow. I love that word, the quality. Attitude has to do with quality. The way you think determines your quality. You can enter into a place and people determine your quality just by the way you have positioned yourself. Just by the way you have positioned yourself. The way in which, or the quality by which, a person outwardly manifests his personality. That is your demeanor. What is your demeanor? How are you outwardly manifesting your personality? What are you doing? How are you doing it? Oh, his demeanor is bad. Her demeanor is not good. That means the quality by which you outwardly manifest your personality is not good. Why? Because there is a way you think about yourself that is not serving you. And if it is not serving you, it's not serving humanity. Let's even leave humanity. It's not serving your community. Your family community, your social community, the city, the community in the city where you live. It's not serving them. That means if you have a job and you don't think right, you are actually not giving them the best of you. You really need to leave the job, sack yourself, or let them fire you until you're ready to give the best. You can't give the best because you're the best you ever there was made. And there won't be a better you ever. Don't cheat yourself. Don't cheat yourself. Have a proper disposition and a proper demeanor. That means you have a proper attitude because of the way you think. And let's go to the last one. And that is the word extraordinary. 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 Of course, you can imagine, I looked up that meaning. And there were other words for extraordinary. Exceptional. Stupendous. Amazing. That's the kind of attitude me and you should have. And so the thesaurus took me to the word exceptional. Being out of the ordinary. Extraordinary. Phenomenal. Remarkable. Rare. Uncommon. Unimaginable, unique, unordinary, unusual. That is to be extraordinary. You should have an extraordinary attitude. An attitude that says, I am not going to settle for average. I'm not going to settle for best. I am always and only going to settle for exceptional, excellent. There is a way of thinking. There is a way of thinking to do excellently. There is a way of thinking. How are you thinking? How exceptional are you? How extraordinary have you determined that you are going to be? It takes work. It's not a walk in the park. It takes work. It takes a different type of thinking, a new way of thinking. It takes determination. You see, the people that stand out are the people that have determined that they're going to be excellent in everything they do. What have you determined you're going to be? By the way you think. Oh, it's too much, Especially some of us, depending on what country you're from. And I will not mention any names. You try and make something really straight and proper. Oh yeah, it doesn't really matter. Just put the paper there, they'll take it. That's the difference between the excellent person and you. Who do you think I'll notice first? Who would you notice first? The straight paper, the way it's laid neatly. The one that takes time to say hello to you when you get to the till to pay in the supermarket. Not the one that keeps talking to his or her friend. I really dislike it when people at the till do that in shops. And they're talking to whosoever they're talking to. While you're waiting, you're just standing there. That is terrible PR. I will not come back there. There are some shops I do not go to because of the way they've treated me. How about you? And let me end with this. There are two synonyms for attitude that I found. Position and posture. Position and posture. When I was under the duvet, that was a position and was also a posture. If someone was going to give me money right at that time when I was moaning and complaining, they will have to come and look for me under the duvet. But people want to give people money. Don't give the people lying down in that posture money. They are asleep. They have given up. It's over. Who do you want to give somebody who's lying down at 3 in the afternoon money for? They don't need it. They can't use it. They're not even thinking of how to get it. They're not going to find me. I'm under the duvet. Where are you? What's your position? What posture have you taken? There is a posture to run a race. A posture to get into to run a race. There's a position to be in. When you get into business, you need to position yourself. Like Brendan Bouchard said, position yourself. If you feel that your value as a coach is 15 pounds per hour, then you've positioned yourself for 15 pounds per hour. But if you feel your value is 1,500 pounds per hour, you've positioned yourself at that place. And guess what? You will attract 1,500 clients, and the 15-pound guy will attract 15-pound clients. Who do you want to attract? What standards are you willing to give them? Well, I guess I have come to the end now. I've absolutely thoroughly enjoyed this. I hope you've received a lot of value. Women Inspired. How to Think Women Inspired is on the 31st of May 2014 in London, Greenwich. I look forward to you signing on and paying your way through to attend that seminar. We'll be together for 5 hours and we will be changing our minds. We will be moving forward. We will become inspired women so we can go out there to inspire others. Stay strong. Thank you.